So I've just I'm putting down the grid over this thing using this ruler, and so I did the horizontal lines. As you can see, I did all of them, and now I'm just starting to do the vertical lines, which aren't as dense, but once I finish it, it should be a very thick and even grid that goes over this whole drawing. And then I will start finding where the dots meet. Let me get this thing in focus. Okay. Like, see how the grid meets here on the outline of his leg? I'll put a little dot there. And wherever the grid meets the drawing, I'll put dots with my pencil, and then I'll go over it with pen. And so the grid will determine what this all looks like in the end. Not this pencil drawing that's very literal, but the grid over it. You see what I'm saying? So I will outline all of this with pen based on where the grid hits the image, the drawing. And so it'll be very abstracted. It'll have a sort of a digitized look. And it'll be very faint. And one thing that'll be different too is that you see how the leg's darker than the court and everything? It's going to be the reverse. So the leg will be lighter and the court will be darker. And so I'll put a lot more dots based on the grid on the court than I will on the leg. So the leg will pop out as this sort of shining body part within this darker court. In the shadow, I'm not really sure quite yet exactly what I'm going to do, although I might just make it, I'll probably just make it denser than everything else, so the shadow will pop up. Which the shadow on this whole thing is weird. It's like one of my favorite parts, but at the same time, it's probably not going to be as dark as I want it to be if I was drawing a different kind of way. And that'll be it. So I've drawn a very literal image, and with this grid technique I've developed, I'm going to abstract it a lot. And hopefully it'll have a really cool vibe. This is weird, but you know, in manga, especially at the end of Akira, the manga Akira, well, in manga in general, when artists are doing flashbacks in time, one trick they simplify everything. They have sort of no shadows going on, just line drawings with very scarce shadows, which indicates that it's in the past. And then Akira is totally there. There's like everything's sort of exploding, a nuclear explosion, and then all these memories are happening, but it has the same sort of effect. Everything becomes sort of like it's being vaporized almost, and foggy. Shit. Anyway. Yeah. Vaporized and foggy. So that is what I hope to be going for. And sort of digitized, So it should be cool. I think it'll be cool, man. I'm take a little break from Thanksgiving, and I'll get back to that. And I will show how I'm shading this thing in. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a 7H pencil, which is very dense lead, and so very light. It doesn't leave a lot of lead when you hit the page. And so I use this in doing the grid because the drawing's done with a much denser and darker lead. So this lighter lead can go over and create a grid without covering up the image so much. See how smart I am? Think of these little things. It's a problem solving, man. And yeah, it's working well. What else was I saying? What else? I was just gonna argue with my parents. It's Thanksgiving. That's sort of what you do, I guess. Journey to the end of the night. That's actually really relevant because we're just having an argument about global warming. And I don't align with, I'm not conservative, I'm not liberal. That's the difference between me and a lot of people. I don't have an ideology or system of belief to sort of organize and judge the world around me. You see what I'm saying? My brain just doesn't work like that. You know, if you're liberal, it means that or if you're conservative, it means you've chosen a sort of an ideology and a sort of a rigid belief system to sort of organize and simplify a very messy world, and so you don't have to think about it that much. And that's why a lot of people, when they vote, you say any policy issue is very complex actually, but people simplify it by just saying I'm on this side or I'm on this side, and so I don't have to think about it that much. I just go into the voting booth and click off a box, and it makes things much more efficient. Except if you're smart, you realize that it's not. That's really all it is. It sort of ends at being it's efficient. You know what I'm saying? And so I was saying with global warming, I don't know. I'm saying I become more skeptical as I've become less sort of ideologically liberal. But I don't know. It could exist. It could not. I honestly just don't have enough time to really do the research myself because I'm working 8 hours a day at my normal job. Then I'm working another 4 to 5 hours a day when I'm drawing afterwards, and I'm exhausted. So I have no time to think about politics. But I do say that I think that global warming and the fears around global warming, it's almost like a secular version of end of days, you know, sort of a world ending fantasies about the world ending. You know, it's and I'm if you're very liberal, you're really sort of religious. I mean, it's like being religious. You have an ideology and a belief system with which you rigidly sort of understand the world and judge the world. And sort of, and psychologically, I think the same things come up. You know, sort of end of days, world-ending fantasies come up in a very sort of secular manner with global warming, and you know it's very similar. And you have all these prophets and these mystics, and they're called, you know, they're the scientists who can predict the future, and they know that the future is the world's going to end, and blah blah blah. It's so similar. That's not to say they're wrong or right. I'm just saying it's very similar. Somebody who has a very, very, very deep understanding, I'd say bigger picture understanding of way people operate to a certain extent. Not in every way, but in some ways. I would say that there's a lot of correlation. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was telling, and my dad saying, I'm so disappointed, you know, that basically you're not following my religion, the religion you were sort of raised to follow. And I'm just saying, listen, it's not like I switch religions because I didn't become conservative. The problem is I'm not religious, period. You know, I don't think in a religious binary, this or that manner. If I don't know something, I admit I don't know something, and I don't know a lot of things, and I'll admit I don't know a lot of things all the time. You know what I'm saying? And things just seem so complicated to me. And honestly, I mean, I feel like it shows so much more wisdom to acknowledge that, you know, than to pretend like you know everything. It's just, that's just it, man. Anyway. That's why I draw people dribbling basketballs. That's really all I could say about the world. People dribbling a ball, people like holding a ball in their hands and moving with it. That's really all I can definitively say anything on. Anyway. I'm gonna go eat some food. I'm gonna go hang out with my family. I'm gonna say goodbye. Okay.